certain high-profile energy boss has just said that air source heat pumps can only produce water at half the temperature of a gas boiler. We know that, so we're here to put that to the test. Welcome to the Great British Heat Off. I'm Phil Steele, I'm the Future Technologies Evangelist, and I'm here at our R&D centre in Slough with the Cosy air source heat pump to separate fact from fiction.
The fact is that heat pumps produce water at roughly half the temperature of a gas boiler.
These are the water pipes coming out of the back of a working heat pump. Using an infrared camera, you can see the water inside is really hot. Here, it reaches 62 degrees. So, you can see this claim is false. Water from a heat pump isn't half as hot as a boiler. For a modern high-temperature heat pump, it's basically the same. And for an older or lower temp heat pump, it's still far warmer than half. Let's dig into the science even more. The Cosy heat pump is designed to operate at up to 70 degrees, although we do tend to install them at a lower temperature because that's a little bit more efficient. A lower flow temperature doesn't mean a colder house. A heat pump keeps you just as warm, and we sign up to regulations that guarantee that.
If you run conventional radiators at that temperature, then the result should be obvious. Less heat, a colder home.
To get that heat, you can either have lower temperature and larger radiators or higher temperature and standard radiators, but either way, it's cheaper than gas with Cosy Octopus. This is a quicker, cheaper install where we try not to change any of your radiators. Your heating system will run at a higher temperature, say 60 degrees, but it'll be a little bit less efficient.
When heat pump temperatures are cranked up, their efficiency goes out the window. You would need a copper 4 to match a gas bill.
Efficiency, a gas boiler's nemesis. Let's see what we're up against. A gas boiler has an efficiency of around 85%. A kilowatt hour of gas burnt results in about 0.85 kilowatt hours of heat. An air source heat pump is completely different. A kilowatt hour of electricity produces between 3 and 4 kilowatt hours of heat. So we call that a coefficient of performance of 300 to 400%. Very different from a gas boiler. So let's go look at a real gas boiler and a real heat pump and see if you really need a cot of 4 to break even. I'm now at Paul's house looking at his gas boiler. So Paul's got his set to 50 degrees. Gas boilers can run at 70 degrees, but over the past decade or so it's become common to run a gas boiler more at 50 degrees because that's actually more efficient. Here are the pipes and here's the tap water. When we feel the water coming from the hot tap, it's nearly too hot to touch. I'm now going to take a look at Paul's radiators, and if I use this infrared camera we can see he's getting about 48 degrees at his radiator, so a nice warm home. This is Paul's living room, and I'm using the infrared camera again, and I can see that he's getting about 22 degrees. We're now at Madge's house, and we're looking at how his Cosy 6 heat pump is working. We've actually set this to run at 50 degrees, but it works on weather compensation. So if the weather is warmer outside, it will automatically run at a lower temperature, which actually makes it more efficient. Now Madge's living room, looking at the temperature that he's getting from his heat pump. So we've got his Cosy 6 running at 50 degrees outside. Here are the pipes and here's the tap water. And remember, some cold water always gets mixed in, so it doesn't scald you when it comes out. And the infrared camera is showing we've got about 45, 46. And we've also checked the coefficient performance, and he's running at about 3.49. Checking Madge's living room temperature, so the infrared camera is showing that we're at about 22, 23 degrees. We've got Madge's air source heat pump set to 50 degrees, but it could be anywhere between 30 and 70, so similar to the gas boiler. But actually it's better that we use it under weather compensation because it will adjust according to the outside weather temperature, what's the most appropriate temperature, and that makes it much more efficient. This is Madge's data for his Cosy 6 heat pump through January. So he's achieved a efficiency performance of 3.41, and in fact since he's had it installed he's achieved an average seasonal coefficient of 3.54. In a recent cold snap we surveyed customers with heat pumps and gas boilers, and those with heat pumps were happier with how warm they were. So there we have it. Their claim is flat out wrong. Heat pumps can run at the same temperature as the gas boiler. In fact we could even run it up to 70 degrees, but the technology is smarter and more efficient if we run it at a lower temperature. And we've got the data to prove it. Across all of our Cosy heat pumps installed, running over December and January, they've achieved a median coefficient performance of 3.6. If I compare the cost of electricity to the cost of gas, and assume an efficiency of 85% from running a gas boiler, we actually only needed a coefficient of performance of 3.5 from our heat pumps in order for it to be cheaper to run your heating on electricity compared to gas. Even better, if we look at a time of use tariff such as the Cosy tariff, then you only need a coefficient performance of 3 for heating still to be cheaper with a heat pump versus gas. So we agree, it's time for honesty. In normal day-to-day life, an Octopus heat pump and a gas boiler both run around 50 degrees. You can crank either up to 60 degrees or even 70 if you need it, but this isn't the most efficient way to run them. Even an older heat pump typically runs around 40 degrees, which is comfortably more than half of the 50 degrees of a gas boiler. It's about time people stop spreading BS about heat pumps. Bad science, that is.